Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Paw, and I am the managing editor of CBR.com.
And I'm Ben Kendrick, the publisher of ScreenRant.com.
And together, we are the First Rule. This is a podcast where we break the first rule of the internet by going through all of our social media channels and reading the comments for some reason. Join us on our mission.
So we got confirmation this week after much speculation about potentially like Allison Brie or like Stephanie Beatrice playing She-Hulk. We now know that Orphan Black's own Tatiana Maslany is going to be She-Hulk, which our commenters, I don't know how your commenters felt about this, but getting right to the comments, we had a lot of people that were really positive about this. So I'm going to read a bunch of different kind of takes on this, and then we'll go into some of the talking points that we sort of can expand out of. So Magdalena, and she has a last name that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not even going to try, said, because Tatiana Maslany is perfect, period. Curtis Paley said, I agree, Allison Brie would have been awesome, but I think she will do a great job. Talking about Tatiana Maslany, I think she'll do a great job. I liked her in Orphan Black. Since they have stated there is going to be more diversity in the MCU going forward, I'm not surprised they chose her. Dean's Oldsworth said, hold up, they said the actress who played Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine was going to be playing as her. To be honest, I prefer Rosa, to which most of our commenters said they did not say that. That was just something people had speculated, which is true. Like, she had been rumored, but even rumored is kind of like, I think some of the websites that we make fun of that make up rumors based on like fan casting and stuff were responsible for that one, because she had expressed interest, but I don't think there was really ever any suggestion that she was in any kind of serious talks for that role.
No, I think she just said, "Oh, this would be cool," and everyone was like, "Yes, this would be cool."
Yeah, you would be
That
great.
was
And
it.
I think she would be. I would have been really curious to see her play it, because just I'm kind of curious what her acting is like outside of playing Rosa, to be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen it. And Rosa is such a dry character, like this requires something very more nuanced than that.
Yeah, like being Jen Walter, like I don't know, like the alter ego of She-Hulk, I think would be not as well. She's badass, but she's not like that kind of badass. It's just like a
Yeah,
very different kind of badass. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I think she would have killed it because I
yeah.
think she's great.
For
So
sure. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if she was a supporting character as opposed to a lead character or something, like then that, like she might have been a better fit for that role. I don't know. I don't, like
mhm.
I said, I don't know enough about Stephanie Beatrice outside of Rosa. So so yeah, everybody was like relatively positive about this. I just I have to choose one that was negative, given that, it's the internet, and be reminded that the internet exists. So Renee Perez says, why not choose an attractive woman? This
Oh,
is a
come on.
But then they say, "This is a movie, isn't it?" So that's like this. Okay, yeah, wrong on multiple levels. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, really positive. I don't know, like if your commenters were equally positive about it, but I was actually kind of surprised. Like, I really liked like Tatiana Maslany in Orphan Black. Orphan Black is a show that I 100% recommend to people. Her performance is in that. She plays like 15 different versions of like the same character, but they're all so nuanced and so different. And it's incredible that she was like brought all that different nuance to all these different characters. Did you watch Orphan Black?
So I've seen a bit of it,
Yeah.
and living in Canada, I feel like that's almost heresy
Yeah,
because she
true.
is like the
Yeah.
Canadian production.
Yeah.
But like, I have not seen it to its full effect. No, and I do need to watch it more. I've only heard amazing things, and I've seen like what I have seen indicates that she is a tremendous actor and one that can carry that kind of weight,
Yeah.
which is incredible, really,
Yeah.
and no pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great. And I mean, so we had someone, Nathaniel Whitehead said, what is probably the best news coming out of this casting announcement for me? He said, I know nothing of her. Everyone keeps talking about how great she is in Orphan Black. So I added season 1 to my watch list. I'm not the hugest fan of sci-fi, so I hope this show surprises me in a good way. And like, if this casting gets more people to go back and watch Orphan Black, like that is the icing on the cake for me. I think she'll be great in the role. And like, I mean, as much attention can be called back to Orphan Black, it's still just like a phenomenal show, I think.
Yeah, I do want to check it out because, like I said, I've heard really good things. But what interests me the most about it is the selection of her coming from a property like that, and one that is, regardless of whether, like, I don't know how good it is, but that kind of the idea, while not maybe being meta as such, has a lot going on with it.
Yeah,
And not a lot of people know this who are not maybe familiar with the She-Hulk character, but she's actually super duper meta
yeah,
in like the 80s and 90s, especially with like Dan Slott, I think's run on it, and a couple of the things that Peter David did with it, who had a phenomenal run on the Incredible Hulk. She was like one of the first meta characters who broke the fourth wall. So like predating Deadpool, before he kind of really got that ability, she was one of the ones who was like talking to the reader and the writers and stuff like that, and made all of this kind of meta commentary. There was one thing in particular I remember, and I don't remember specifically the ins and outs of it, but she was scantily dressed, and she had like turned into the Hulk, and like it was ripped, and she was like, it was just covering her bare parts, and she was like, "Yeah, that's kind of coincidence, isn't it?" Or like, "How convenient!
right.
Like, oh, you can't see everything." And it was like a real commentary about like, who are you like kidding here?
Yeah,
And I wonder how much they're going to bring that to this series,
yeah,
especially given that selection, like that casting selection. I don't think it's going to be a flat out "this is a Hulk" series. And not only are they playing with different personalities like she is already used to playing with, and I think that's going to be super important going into the sensational She-Hulk idea. Even though she's not like got that split like Banner and Hulk do,
yeah,
there are there are different things that drive those two personas within that character.
yeah,
And I wonder how much they're going to bring to that, how much meta commentary they were going to have, how much people are going to be receptive to something like that with the Hulk in the title, even though in Marvel, the Hulk series, like the Immortal Hulk, is dealing with a whole crazy amount of stuff.
yeah.
She Hulk 2 currently. So I kind of do. I really am curious about this based on that casting alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. One of the things that people were another thing that was brought up by our commenters, Emney Garrity. Man, I got some challenging names this week. Um, said, so is she just going to be voice acting? Based on the comics I've read, once she turns, she doesn't turn back. Or are they going to call her she waif? Not trying to be mean. She's just too small. I guess she's saying like, or this person's
Oh,
saying she's like, she can't be the Hulk, right? Like she can't be the bigger part of it. And Sean Karn says, I might be thinking in 80s terms, but I remember She-Hulk almost never reverting to Jennifer Walters, not even in court. So like I'm curious. I'm actually like I remember like a lot of She-Hulk stuff from like the 80s and 90s, but I'm not as up on like where the character is at these days. Some of our other commenters were saying she actually changes back more than these people are remembering, but I'm curious like if you can like address that, I guess.
sure. I mean, like it depends. It really depends on when they're going to take this version, or which version of She-Hulk are they're going to take. In the original version, She-Hulk got a blood transfusion to save her life from Bruce Banner, her cousin, and that's how she became She-Hulk, because she
Right.
got like gamma irradiated blood. So the same thing happened to her whenever she got angry, or I think when she got scared, or something. It was something kind of like messed up, I think, where like she was a woman and she kind of had this
Right,
emotional
right.
outbreak
Yeah,
and she became
exactly.
like the Hulk.
Yeah, it's not when she get
Um,
men get angry, women get scared, right?
yeah, that kind of thing. And so it was like, I can't remember exactly, but it was very much a copy of the Hulk, just with she in front of it, which was very popular at the time when she came out. Later, yeah, she got her own agency, basically. And I don't mean that as a lawyer term, although she did get that too. Where she did just kind of become Hulk all the time, and she became the sensational She Hulk, where she kind of like just embraced her power. And a lot of what made her popular at the time was that she embraced a lot of her sexuality. Like when she became Hulk, she became a lot more confident in herself, and that kind of shone through. And so I think that's why she embraced the idea of a persona. It wasn't as fractured as Bruce Banner's was. These days, so we had this other thing that we're not going to talk about today, but there's a thing where She-Hulk has not been called She-Hulk since 2016. She has been uh, the Hulk, like she's Hulk now, not She-Hulk, since 2016, based off of Mariko Tamaki's run. and she's only been the Hulk since then, and she's gone back to. So she died technically in Civil War II, which is a comic book run. She was punched, I think, through her by Thanos. She died and then she came back, and then she could not control her emotions again. But now she is basically just the Savage Hulk. But everybody just calls her Hulk. So if they're going to do that again, I'm less interested in it. But I
Yeah.
think what they're probably going to do is just give her like a CGI body, and then this actor is going to act on top of that, kind of like Mark Ruffalo does with the
Yeah.
Hulk, but just in a more nuanced way, I
That's kind
would
of that's
think.
sort of what I expect too. Is like just because the comic, she even if in the comic she's not reverting back a lot or something like that, and that's a choice that comic creators have done. I think most of the viewers haven't been introduced to this idea yet of like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you had Hulk and Smart Hulk and stuff in Ragnarok and in Endgame and everything. So
Yeah.
maybe they are kind of used to that now, but I was sort of thinking like, if someone's watching this, it's like, okay, this is the part of the show where she like, gets angry or she gets, whatever, scared or whatever it is that triggers her. And then she becomes the Hulk. And like, they're really going to play up those two different personalities a bit more than they would like in a comic where she doesn't change back very often or something. But I could be wrong. But my expectation is your expectation, which is that she'll play both versions of the character, but we'll probably see human like Tatiana Maslany a lot more than we'll see like hulked out Tatiana Maslany is my guess, but I could be wrong
Yeah.
though. I mean, these Disney Plus series like continue freaking Baby Yoda like running around in The Mandalorian and three-quarters of the shots some of the time. So
Yeah, that's true. Just one thing I want to mention real quickly from one of our commenters, from a Destiny Rivera, who I think we've mentioned before, said, "I hope it's a courtroom procedural." Now, that would be an interesting choice
yeah,
because there actually has been a comic based on that by I can't remember who wrote it. I want to say I can't remember who wrote it, but I think it was Michael Allred who drew it, and it was just basically a courtroom procedural. And some of the best things that have happened with She-Hulk have been in court when she is
yeah,
She-Hulk, and
yeah.
that has led a lot of it. Could you see like a courtroom procedural, like a Law and Order kind of thing with She-Hulk? Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's what they're going to do with this.
That
That
would
would be weird.
It would be cool. I mean, WandaVision suggests they're willing to play with these Disney Plus TV series quite a bit. So I mean, I would definitely be down for like a freak of the week or case of the week type thing where, Jessica Walters is just like investigating and then like, I don't know, like having to go into court and do like an actual court procedural type TV series. But yeah, I don't know. I'm here for it. Like whatever it is, I'm sure Tatiana Maslany is going to kill it. And I agree with producer Greg who says bring back Bridget Nielsen in the failed She-Hulk movie that was never produced. Also, the
Yes.
pictures of Bridget Nielsen as She-Hulk are like so 80s. It's unbelievable. Have you
Yeah.
seen those pictures of her?
I don't not recently anyway.
Like she
Maybe I
has
should check
shaved
them
like
out.
80s hair, but like kind of greenish skin. Like
Oh,
it's very on brand for like what those movies would have been like in the 80s and stuff.
I'm looking them up like everybody else is. Yes, I have seen these. Of course, I've seen
Yeah.
these. Listen, that's what they should do though. They should just lean into it. She had like there's a great thing where she's wearing like a jazzercise
Yeah.
outfit and like a headband and stuff. Man, lean into that. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's go. Like everybody's ready for these era based like shows and stuff. Let's do that with She Hulk. I'm
Yeah.
ready for that too. Hell yeah.